Warning: the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Don't matter if the poem blows, I'm gonna wind up working in the thick of it. Sunshine through the rain and snow. There's an oily brine, bilge water baptism waiting below.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. I'm your host this week, Karen Randazzo, and with me as always is alien in the body of a doctor, Chris Randazzo.
Sound of piano falling on child.
A little kid who can see the truth, Evan Goldstein.
I'll say one thing about whiskey, it's allowing me to make smart, rational decisions.
And a kind-hearted nurse with a troubled past, Angie Fernot.
Do you want to die?
This is episode 226 for the week of March 11th, 2021. Tonight, we will be discussing Resident Alien Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot. But before we get to that, here's your weekly reminder that you can get in touch with us at mail@geekade.com. Tell us how your week is going. Tell us what kind of flowers and plants are starting to bloom outside now that it's almost spring. Tell us your heart's deepest dreams and desires. Just kidding. Just tell us about TV. That's all we care about anyway.
But I think daffodils are growing in our yard.
No one cares.
I saw one today. It was so pretty.
I don't know what a
We
daffodil
only want to
is.
hear from you, the listener, and not you people in your plants outside your house.
What do you mean, you people?
Whoa.
I mean
You
that
people
you-
who don't watch enough television, obviously.
Whoa.
Just got racial up in here. Hey guys,
Hey.
how's it going?
It's great.
Yay.
That's good. It is a beautiful, lovely, almost spring-like week here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, starting to warm up, starting to get a lot of pollen in the air. Hooray.
Oh, speaking of pollen, I have an
I
announcement.
like where this is going already.
Wait, shh. She has an announcement to make.
I
Uh-oh.
have allergies for the first time in my life. I am officially old.
Congratulations.
I'm so
Welcome
happy.
to the
I'm
rest
so
of
proud.
us. Does this mean we have to stop mocking her for being a baby?
Yes. She's finally hit adulthood.
I'm coming of age. I went to the doctor today. I got tested for COVID because I've had this thing going on and off for like over a month. And I went in and she's like, yeah, you got fluid behind your eardrums. You got fluid in your lungs. Not a lot though. Not enough to worry. You got like a post-nasal drip. You're kind of a mess. Go get this, and this.
fluid.
And I was like, cool. And she's like, yeah, it could be mild bronchitis, but it really just looks like allergies. Don't let it linger because you will get an infection. I was like, great.
This nurse
Love
practitioner
infections.
was the best.
Yeah. So, allergies. But I did. I took allergy medicine today, you guys. I'm feeling pretty spectacular. I would
Are
say
you living
I've got
Claret and
pep
Clear?
in my step.
Yes, actually, she is living Claret Clear.
I am. Literally.
She passed on the Allegra that we had in the house because it was expired by a year.
Yep.
I feel like that's
probably
fermented.
a good choice.
I feel like that's better though. Like,
Yeah.
reach the
I feel
fine
like that's
age.
not
Allergy
effective.
medicine's basically wine, right?
That's obviously how it works. I should have, if
Write
I
that
really
down. Hold
wanted
on.
it to work. That's right,
Have
folks.
mercy.
We here definitely condone taking age-old medicines that have definitely expired. Please don't do that. We don't want to get
all
sued.
doctors here.
And
Yes.
if you wait long enough, it turns to vinegar, and you can put it on your sandwich.
Nice salad.
Everyone go watch Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh my goodness.
Is that true? What is
Yeah.
that show actually about? I've never seen it before.
I don't know. The last time I saw it, I was probably still in diapers. So I don't even know why I know the name of that show anymore.
So like 3 years ago?
Still
It's
younger
good
than
to-
you.
It's good to hear you guys and be joking again. It's been a little while. It's been a little extra week since our last recording. I don't know about you guys, but we watched a lot. So let's get to it. Hit me with what you
Yes.
got, guys.
Oh my God, Karen, are you ready?
I don't know.
Clearly,
guys,
the answer is no.
I watched Bridgerton.
Yes! Yes, you
I
did.
was not a part of this. I did not know that was playing in my house.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
what are you
And-
complaining about? Like she's watching something really horrible.
Well, it's because I tend to watch so many things like Outlander, where every time he walked in, it was naked people and or butts and sex. So, like Bridgerton had a decent amount of that too.
TV
Sure,
timeout.
yeah.
Speaking of, there was
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
what was that pirate show that you made me watch?
Black Sails?
So she's like, yeah, we're gonna watch Black Sails, and like the first episode is like 30% nudity and sex, and she's like, I don't remember this at all.
I really didn't. I'm not sorry. It was so good.
Yes, I remember Angie messaging me while she was taking back the season of Bridgerton. Do you want to share with the folks how many times you called Simon a dumbass?
Oh my God.
It's funny. She started messaging me like 1 or 2 episodes in, and I was like, "How many times have you called him a dumbass?" And she was like, "I don't know. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, what specifically do you mean he's being a dumbass about?" And I'm like, "You just wait."
Yeah, I
okay."
haven't gotten
And
there
then
yet,
like
apparently.
4 episodes later, she's like, "Oh my God, I hate Simon. He's so stupid."
So yeah, it started with, okay, on February 18th, I messaged Karen and I was like, it's happening. And then I had caught on to the fact that a lot of the instrumental music that was being played at the balls was actually modern stuff, and it didn't hit me until I heard Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, and the way that they were like working that into the story, I was like, this is goddamn genius.
Yeah, I'm so old that like I could tell it was modern music, but I didn't know what any of the music was.
Right? Yeah. So we started with me just being like, oh yeah, like it's happening, and I like at 7:35 on February 18th, I was like, just finished the first episode. I'm officially hooked. I love the lady and the Duke. Like, didn't even know anybody's name yet. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with Simon? Like, what the fuck?
Where was I?
Working?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes
It
sense.
was happening in real time, and it was just glorious.
It was in the span of 3 hours. I literally just went overboard completely. But so by the time the next morning hit, I'm sending Karen these messages that like I like, it was like, this man is the most infuriating human, I swear, to like, he is the worst, to now I know why you were constantly yelling at your screen, and then going back to, but I'm gonna sound like I'm out of my mind because I'm obsessed, and I'm gonna be very honest, I prefer the prince over Simon. Gasp. And then followed up by like literally 2 messages later, really, Simon, use your fucking words.
Yeah, I went to sleep getting these messages, and I woke up getting these messages. It's like, wow, you really got into it.
Yeah, I devoured that show. In the span of like, I think 36 hours, I definitely figured out how to fit all of the episodes into my work life, and I was completely unapologetic. I just like could not.
For somebody who says that they don't have time to watch much TV, you then really found time when it counted.
Yeah.
Shoehorned that TV right into the old life, didn't you?
I did. I will say that I made a dedicated effort. I did it for a friend. I sacrificed for my friend.
Well played, honey.
I know.
True hero.
Oh, I'm so funny. Anyway, yeah, no, Bridgerton was really great. I loved a lot of the storytelling. Karen and I have already talked about this, and Karen had really sold it on a previous episode of this podcast. So you need to just really watch Bridgerton if you haven't. It takes a lot of the, I think, things that we look at as really charming and elegant about period pieces that are set in that era, and then turns it sort of on its head and just really makes you see how powerless people felt even in high society. And they present it in a way that it's also like modernized. It's really, really strange.
It's kind of like what Jane Austen probably would have written if she was alive now.
Yes, very much so. And for those of you who do not know, dear listener, Karen is the reason I've actually read Jane Austen. So She was the one who helped me understand. But yeah, really, really good stuff. Okay, so that was my one thing that I had to get out. I've watched a few other things, but I really wanted to share that and have that
I'm
moment.
glad you did.
Yes, so thank you, Karen. As always, your recommendations are stellar, and you are amazing.
I'll take it. Thanks.
Yeah.
I am amazing.
Okay, somebody else talk because I will not shut up if I keep going.
Evan, shut your woman up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
We did travel last week. That's why we weren't on the show. Like that's why we had to skip a week. So, like whilst we were in the hotel, I hook up the laptop and hook up into my Plex, and I say, you know what, we're gonna watch Cougar Town. For some reason, we just started doing a rewatch of Cougar Town, and a season and a half later, I remembered how much I like that show.
I'm actually getting to watch more episodes of it with you this time.
So, yeah.
We really need to finish that show one of these days.
We do. We really need to restart that show one of these days.
That's true. Maybe after New Girl.
That's also a great show. Still watching Last Man Standing, and that led me down the rabbit hole of that Assembly Required show that we talked about the last episode, where it was, it's a competition of, Tim Allen and, Al Borland build. They judge people on stuff that they build, and I don't I guess because of COVID and everything having to be remotely done, like those competition shows aren't really hitting as well.
Yeah, it's
like,
not the same.
They're filming these people in their own shops, and two of them were in single car garages, and one of them was in his living room, and his living room made me so uncomfortable. There was so much crap all over the place, and and he builds suits of armor, like that was his thing. It was weird. So I don't know if I'm gonna continue with that one. It just for a competition show, it wasn't hitting with me. What else? We caught up on the
Wait,
Rookie.
There was something that was not necessarily television, but you showed it to me in a hotel room, and it was a very magical experience.
Did he have to pay to show it to you in a hotel room? Because this is not that kind of podcast.
What did I show you in the hotel room?
It went down that kind of direction.
What are we talking about, honey?
Magic
Yikes.
Mike.
Oh, yeah, we watched Magic Mike for the first time. We didn't. She watched it for the first time. This is a repeat viewing for me.
That seems backwards.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I'll never forget. A very good friend of mine years and years and years ago. I was sitting on my couch when I was living alone, and this buddy
You were
from
down
high
on your
school.
luck, and somebody offered you money to take your clothes off. We understand.
Man, I wish I could have seen that.
This good friend who I hadn't spoken to in quite a while calls me out of nowhere, and I happen to be sitting on my couch watching a movie, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't want to say." He's like, "Why? What are you doing?" I'm like, I really don't. He goes, "Now you have to." I went, "All right, I'm watching Magic Mike XXL." He goes, "That's a great movie." I'm like, "That's why we're friends." So yeah, at the end of Magic Mike, she was confused. I think the statement was there was so much more plot to this than I expected, and I still have questions.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. I have questions. There's so much more plot than stripping.
Yeah, it was adorable.
I was really genuinely invested in the story, and I felt like the ending was not satisfactory because apparently the sequel has nothing to do with the first one.
Yeah, no questions answered.
So there was a lot going on. A kid got addicted to drugs, man. That needed attention.
Well, that's something we will never get until they make the Magic Mike the show, which they hopefully will.
Yeah. Well. Anywho,
we caught up on we're in the process of catching up on the Rookie because that show is phenomenal, and we're doing that thing where we don't want to watch it because to the end, like the last most current episode, because then there's no more. So they're handling this season really, really well. The racism and the stress between the police and the public. They're doing a really, really good job.
all I can say is Superman's a racist. I had to hear Evan yelling that in my living room.
So what's his name?
the guy who plays the Atom on Legends of Tomorrow.
Brandon Routh.
Brandon
you.
Routh is on this season of The Rookie, and like
And he's a racist?
Yeah.
as soon as they put him on screen, I went, boom! They got their
Racist.
new racist. Like I knew it, and it went right down that path because he was the new guy, and I knew they were gonna have to touch on it in some way, shape, or form. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, Superman's now racist. It's upsetting me. He wasn't the best Superman, but still, I see him as Superman. I don't see him as the Atom.
And I had to turn to him and be like, honey, you know he cast for this role, right? Like, it's not like they put him in chains and went, you do this now.
And I'm choosing to ignore that. That's not what happened. He was forced into it. But the dude
Under duress.
Obviously.
he's acting under duress.
Yes.
But it's great. We love this show. It's so well done. Paranormal, paranormal, caught on camera,
yeah.
ghost hunters. I mean, that's what's usually playing in our house. And today, we watched the series finale of WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yes.
So
As did we. So
okay, so let's catch up on that last. What have you guys been checking out?
Well, let's see. We're kind of at a crossroads on what to watch. So here was our problem with WandaVision, is that it happened on Fridays, and we have Thursdays to watch TV together before we have Fridays to watch TV.
That's how the week works, Chris. You can't fool me on it.
I don't have Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm working.
Okay.
So we can't hang out and watch TV. So our first night to watch TV together is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And WandaVision was not available yet on Thursday. So we needed something else to do. And Karen recommended a show. She's like, I heard of this show called Ted Lasso.
Okay.
I was like, okay, whatever. I'm in. I like inspirational sports stuff. Let's do it. And I fell in love with this show with the first episode. And then we just marathon the whole darn season. It's an Apple original?
Apple
right?
Apple
Yeah,
TV
Apple
Plus
Plus.
original.
And good gravy, this show is outstanding.
Good gravy.
It's basically, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's basically the movie Major League, but a show, but with soccer.
Okay, the movie Major League, like the Wild Thing Major League.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a failing sports team
All right.
and taken over by a bitter ex-wife. And she does her best to try and sink the team because to get revenge on her cheating bastard ex-husband.
Cool.
Who's played by Rupert Giles,
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
whose
And-
character's name is also Rupert.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's making me so happy.
Cool.
No, it's
So
It
she
is-
brings in a Midwestern college football coach who has never heard of like anything about British football to coach this soccer team in like the highest league in the Premier League, I guess.
mhm.
That's the
I think that's what they call
league
it.
that
Yeah.
the soccer team is in. There's a bunch of leagues. I didn't really understand it, but neither did he, and you didn't really need to. You don't need to know anything about sports to like the show.
Sports.
Chris doesn't, and
Yeah, it is just a delightful show. Ted's a really endearing character, and in fact, all the characters are really endearing. And basically, it's just about the fact that Ted is this super nice guy, and that's how he gets people to be better, is by just being super nice. And it's incredibly touching when it needs to be. It's very funny when it needs to be, and it just went in some interesting directions. And I just can't say enough good things about it. I wish there was more of it right now, because I just fell head over heels in love with this show.
it did get renewed.
Well, that's wonderful. Didn't it just win like some awards too? On the
Oh yes, Jason Sudeikis won the Golden Globe for his performance.
I love the Golden Globes. We
Well, it
watched
was kind
this.
of like it went viral on social media because the Golden Globes, which I watched a little bit of, they were weird. They were all
Oh.
like remote. And so all the stars were in their homes, and Jason Sudeikis showed up to the Golden Globe Zoom in like a tie-dye hoodie, unshaven. His hair was a mess.
like you do.
And then he won, and we were like, "Yes!" And accepting an award looking like that is totally a 2021 mood.
Yeah.
You're not wrong though.
So
It was simply delightful. So that show gets the highest of all possible recommendations from me.
Nice.
So yes, we did WandaVision, but we'll talk about that later. And the other show that we've been watching a bunch of is Dragon Prince.
Yeah.
How's that going over?
That's been our nightly show. The kids are really into it.
Great.
John in particular is like really following it. Like there have been cliffhanger endings where he's looked at us at the end like, wait, it's over? I want more. And not just in like the kid, I'm watching something, let me watch more TV. It's like he was really worried about Callum and he wanted to know what was going to happen. And it was just the sweetest darn thing. So we're in season 3 now. So we're almost caught up.
You're cooking.
Yeah, we're cooking right through it. We're watching it every night, and it's been a hoot. I've been really enjoying watching it again because I really love this show, and it's I stand by my assertion that this show is the plot is as good as Game of Thrones was when it was in its prime. It's just told in a child's cartoon sort of way. So like the writing isn't necessarily top tier Game of Thrones, but the actual story that's happening is. It's really good, but that's my opinion. I am curious to know what Karen really thinks of this show because, like Legend of Korra, it's hard to tell because she's enjoying it for the kids, and I know animation isn't really her bag, but I felt pretty strongly that this would be a show she'd enjoy if she was able to follow. So let's see if I'm right or wrong.
I mean, yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I follow it. It's a children's cartoon.
It's okay.
One of the things I like about it is like it provides opportunities for me to like for just like 2 minutes after the episode is over to talk to the kids and be like, wow, that was really scary, or like, wow, I'm really proud of what so and so did there because she did the right thing or whatever it was. So I like that it and the kids can seem to appreciate like those teachable moments, which is nice. I'm pretty damn invested. I haven't really had any complaints except the episode we watched tonight where Ezran took over the throne and like they just throw him in there and a bunch of shit happened and then they were like, where are the adults? And I'm like, yeah, where are the adults? Like, did you not prep this kid at all?
That's one way to run a kingdom.
Thinking on that for a second, I think that because what was the hierarchy before? It was King what's his face? King Harrow and Magic Dickmonger. And like Harrow's dead and then like his right hand man was basically like, he's arrested for treason and escaped and then sent a bunch of shadow fake and assassins to start a war. So I don't know that there was really much of a hierarchy in place to properly educate this boy on what's been going on. There should have been.
I feel like that lady from the council, I don't know what her name is, but the one that suggested that he have a regent. I feel like she was like the next in charge, and maybe it wasn't her official place to say something, but I feel like it's not. I mean, you've got like a 10-year-old kid who's going to be the king.
And they just started up the day. They're like, all right, let's start reading mail. Like, give him an instruction. You got a pamphlet or something to read this kid? Something with the basic rules of how to run this kingdom. King. That woman, and I hate saying stuff like this, but that woman that you're talking about, she is an awful, awful voice actress. I'm sure she's a very nice person. I'm not trying to do this personally. Just her performance sticks out every time she speaks. Like, I don't know what's going on with that woman, but not a fan. But
as he was saying, yeah, like we're in season 3 and we're, that Callum and Rayla just got to Zadia and all that fun stuff. So here Chris is going, yeah, we're almost caught up to where he keeps saying you guys will be in the same boat as me soon. We'll have watched it all and we'll be wanting more and just be waiting for it to come out. And I'm like, and I'll stop asking you stupid questions. Because I'll know everything that you know.
Yeah, you'll be right where I am.
I feel like every episode I have some half-baked theory about what's going on, but I don't know like everything that's happened yet to know whether it's not a dumb question or not.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, we haven't watched it in so long that I don't even remember the plot anymore.
Yeah, we would have to start over.
Which we should.
And it's pretty quick. There's only 8 episodes per season, right?
So, yeah,
That's
they're
why part
shorter
of why we're
seasons.
blowing through it so quick, because there just isn't that much of it.
Yeah.
Every time I see that both season finales that came along, I was like, wow, a lot's happening. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's why.
Well, we did get to the what I assumed you were talking about, the fight scene on in the volcano where she winds up saving the elf that tried to kill her.
Mhm.
I like where that all goes going forward. I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone reacts to what is coming in that department. And yeah, I love this show. I can't wait for more of it.
Mm.
It is a good time.
Does
a good
anyone,
time.
do we have any updates about its future?
It's been renewed for like another 4 seasons or something like that.
It was,
So
yeah, it was a bulk
it's renewed
renewal.
to its conclusion.
But we don't know
just
when
got-
that is.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
we
it's-
just you gotta wait
yeah.
for it to happen.
The
Okay.
Netflix, it'll come sooner than like later.
All right, well, if I start gagging, I apologize, everybody.
Stop it.
Evan's pulling out the violets.
Oh, boy.
Ugh.
Well, let me distract you by filling you in on my activities.
What do you got?
I've been still going at it with the baking show, but I am on the 2020 season,
Oh, God.
and I am now doing the thing that you guys do where I'm like rationing it out. 'Cause
There
I
you
know
go.
there's not much
Mhm.
left.
Good
Although I did
terminology.
notice when I started it, I noticed that Netflix posted something called Great British Baking Show: The Beginnings,
What?
where I think
What?
they may have gotten the rights back to at least one season from before they started partnering with Netflix. And
okay.
so that's there. It just looks like Mary Berry and Mel and Sue are there. So I'm gonna have to check that out when I finish this one. The one with Matt Lucas, which I love him.
Out of curiosity, Karen, have you ever watched Nailed It?
I've watched every episode of Nailed It multiple times.
Oh,
Kids
God.
love it.
Yeah, kids
Okay.
love that show. We talked about that on this show for a while when they were like super into it.
Yeah.
So I
That's a
came
good
home
time.
the other night and she wasn't feeling well. She was lying on the couch and she was watching it. She goes, I was going to watch the British baking show, but this one seems to have, more realistic expectations or more realistic
Yeah.
goals.
I was like,
Aw.
I don't feel like I have to try, because when I watch British Baking Show, I get so into it. I'm like, I want to bake all the things. I got to watch this. I got to see what they're doing and see how they're doing it and see what I can learn. And yeah. And I'm like super into it and I'm really invested. And with Nailed It, I was like, if I pass out on the couch, whatever. But it was surprisingly entertaining.
Oh, it's very entertaining. It's also the polar opposite of Baking Show, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
I caught the end of it and I'm like, whoa, that's a scary looking piece of cake. Why does that cake look that way? I don't think it's supposed to look that way.
The episode when they had to do the self-portraits. Oh my God, I was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
Nailed It is a good way to spend your time. So an interesting thing, though, happened with Baking Show, which is this morning, Ellie was in my office annoying the crap out of me.
As she does.
As she does
she
on a
does.
daily basis. And then she looked up at me and she said, Mommy, can we watch Great British Baking Show? Because they've seen me watching it and they've seen snippets of it here and there and they claim to like it, but they've never before picked that as let's do this. And my heart just grew 3 sizes. And I said, yes, we can watch Great British Baking Show.
I love
So
my
I took-
child again.
I took her downstairs and I started at the beginning and fired it up for her. And she only lasted one challenge, but that was. Did we watch the whole episode or one challenge? I can't remember. We watched one challenge and then she had to go do her class and then we watched the rest afterwards.
Aww.
Aw.
Yeah. And it's interesting for me to revisit going back to the season 1 or collection 1, whatever Netflix calls it. Knowing, having seen the whole thing, because I can't remember exactly what happened in that season, but I do remember which people lasted and which people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so, rewatching it, knowing that, and knowing a lot more about the baking and the way the things are judged and the mistakes people make, I was like, this is really cool to watch this again from this perspective. So that's been fun.
Nice.
I think I mentioned the last show that I had started a show called Teenage Bounty Hunters.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
I finished Teenage Bounty Hunters. It's fucking amazing. Everyone should watch it. I finished it and immediately went to IMDb to find out about it and was horrified to learn that it was canceled, and so the season 1 is the only season there is.
Aww.
It wraps up fine. It tells a complete story. It's not like there's a cliffhanger and you don't know and you'll never know at the end. It's a whole thing. But they drop a bombshell at the end of the season that I really would have been interested to see another season of what happens after everybody finds out this information. It would have been so interesting. And my only theory as to why it got canceled is that the show came out last year, and I'd never heard of it. And all of a sudden now in March 2021, it's being pushed on my Netflix. Hey, you probably would like this show. I'm like, yeah, I did really like this show. Why didn't you tell me about it a fucking year ago? Because if you had told everybody about it, everybody would have watched it, and then there'd be more because people would like it.
Karen, are you upset?
No, she's fine.
Little.
Everything's fine.
Actually, have you heard about the show Firefly Lane?
That's on my list to watch.
Okay, so when you watch it, let me know how you feel about it, because I will warn you now, the end of the season does not complete any stories for you. It is an absolute cliffhanger, so if there's not a second season, I'm rioting.
I'm flipping this table right here.
That's right.
Well, I do know it was based on a book, so if you're mad about it, you could go read the book.
I'm going to have to.
Ugh. Reading.
Reading. That's not what we're here to talk about.
Ugh.
They're pictures?
I don't.
What is it? This week's bookisode?
What am I, a librarian? I don't know if there's pictures. Go, whatever. I also watched a really great movie on Netflix, which is not what we're here to talk about, but it's called Moxie. It just came out this week. Amy Poehler.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Wrote, directed. I don't know. She's definitely in it. She definitely had a lot of involvement. It's great. It's a movie I wish we had when we were that age. It's about a feminist revolution in a high school, and it's fantastic. But it's a movie, so I won't spend too much time talking about it. But you should definitely watch it. And the last thing I did for you guys, because you made me aware that it was available, is I caught up on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist Season 2.
Nice.
Oh my god. Okay.
Holy crap, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we caught up?
We're not right now. No, we may not be because we didn't watch while we were away. And there should be...
I watched up to the 6 episodes that are on the Plex.
Okay.
Wait, that's all that there is though, right?
I think that's it so far.
What?
So the last episode I saw was the big thing with Simon. You guys saw that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris, you don't know this, but there's a character named Simon who's the head of marketing or something.
Okay.
And at this tech company, and he's black, and their new tech product has a facial recognition component, which they get a report at the beginning of the episode that it's not recognizing people of color.
So like that episode of Better Off Ted with the doors.
Exactly like that episode of Better Off Ted, except not funny. Because the head of the...
We broke Chris.
So just remembering that episode of Better Off Ted.
Which was really funny. They played it for laughs. But so the head of the company comes to Simon, this black marketing guy, and they're like, we need you to talk to the press and get out in front of this and tell everyone that it was an honest mistake and we're working on it and blah, blah, blah. To which he is his reaction is he connects it to a problem in the corporate culture, which is that there's hardly any people of color in the company. So, of course, this problem wasn't noticed and was, made it through development because who was paying attention to that would have caught it? There's not people there working there that would have been aware of it
There's a
until it went out for testing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it's like a really big kind of serious issue episode where he kind of struggles with like what to do and should he make this statement, ends up like calling out the corporate culture to the press. Then he gets like told he's got to take his statement back, or he knows like if he doesn't that he's probably going to not get fired but kind of get sidelined in the company. And the way they handled all this shit was the smartest I've ever seen any of this handled by any show ever, or most things ever. Because not only did they like take seriously and address this racial issue, they also showed all the white people on the show reacting in all the terrible ways that white people react when they like find out about something like this,
including
like,
Zoe,
nice,
like not knowing
well-meaning
how.
white people who just like don't think of themselves as racist, but they also don't associate themselves as, being part of a system that's, that has systemic racism. And I think people need to see that kind of stuff. Because
I will say
think there's a lot of those people like in the world who just don't think they're doing anything wrong, but oh yeah, you are.
And I think that those episodes, like, because there's like two, right? It's the first one where it happens, and then the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there is enough of that story that people who are not really fans of the show, if they understood the premise of how it works, they could probably watch those episodes and out of like context of the rest of the plot of the show. If you're not interested in watching the show, maybe just give that a chance anyway. I will say, though, the one thing I did struggle with was the fact that when Zoe went to Mo for advice, Mo completely shut her down and was like, oh, you're going to come to your black friend to ask for advice to talk to your black friend. And it's like, yeah, because I don't really have any other way to do this. And it's kind of that, like, if I want to go talk to another woman, I'm going to talk to a woman about it before I talk to a man. Like, that was kind of my association with it. So there was some stuff that even I looked at it and I was like, I would not have expected that to be a problem,
Well, I kind of see both sides of it. My issue with her asking Mo for help was that, Mo made the connection of, oh, you're asking a black friend how to talk to your other black friend. If I were Zoe, I would have said, no, I'm asking you, my friend, how to talk to our other friend who you're also friends with. Like, that would have been my approach, and I think that would have been okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the issue with Zoe asking her based on her race was that, that's expecting Mo to do emotional labor, that it may be triggering for Mo to have to explain that stuff to Zoe without, because it's very likely she would have been in the same position and have to dredge up some feelings she probably didn't want to deal with, for the sake of helping this white person.
Mm-hmm.
So I did understand her objection to her asking for help.
Yeah, that's why I say I like the fact that it draws attention to stuff that I would not have thought about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me want to have those conversations with my friends about those topics. So yeah, I hope
the ridiculous town hall at work.
Oh
So it's
my
like,
God.
well, like, obviously there's a problem here and I want to be proactive about it. So let's have a big meeting in front of, everybody in front of everybody where everybody just talks about race at work. Go! And like everybody was uncomfortable and nobody was going to be honest and share the way and the white people dominated the conversation. And I really never thought I would like care about Tobin as a character in the way that I did there in that episode.
That was a nice
Tobin
spin.
is an Indian character and he's sort of like everything's a joke to him, and even when this came up where it was something that would affect him, he was like, nah man, it's fine, whatever, racism sucks, boo. And like, but then he sang one of his heart songs to Zoe where she found out like it really bothers him too. He's just, has never been able to deal with it.
What I liked about that situation is like 9 times out of 10 when dealing with Tobin, he's the jackass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is either the butt of the joke or he is constantly making fun of the situation. So most of the time you don't take him seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the linchpin of the whole culmination of the episode. Something that he did led to the air quotes resolution of the episode, which was impressive. I like the way they laced him in like an adult, if you will.
Yeah, like he took back some of his own power. That's what it felt like. By the end of that episode, Tobin was owning his part in everything and also claiming like his power as a human being. And it was fucking awesome. Ugh, I'm getting chills thinking about it. I just started sweating.
It really made me feel some kind of way about, like, what am I trying to say? His contribution of just speaking out about his own experience. Because I think a lot of people go through that where, they might have experienced something similar, but they don't want to talk about it because they don't think anything will change, or that they might not change anyone's mind by saying what they're saying. But the point is not always necessarily to try and change other people's minds that disagree with you. It's more to show other people who are like you that to let them know that you're out there and you feel that way.
Yeah.
And so that someone else who feels that way, who hasn't said anything before, will know that they are not alone.
Beautifully stated. You've explained this episode better than I have been able to articulate any of it to anyone.
Well,
good job.
I mean,
Really.
It's hard. It's hard stuff. You speak your mind these days and anyone will jump on you for anything. Just, like Zoe's truth, partial truth was actually true. She needed to listen. We all need to listen. And we need to shut up, listen to the experiences of people who are being mistreated, believe them, and, listen to them about what will make it better. And not just jump on, well, I'm not wrong. I'm not part of the problem. Anyway,
Well
should we talk about some comic book shit? This is getting a little heavy.
Listen, this is the power of television. This is seriously.
It
This
covers
is like
everything.
Yeah.
Covers the gamut.
This is what I love about this show is that it's one of those things where it's like, do you like musicals? Come watch our show. And now we're going to hit you with all the feels, and it's going to be real life stuff, and we're going to tactfully handle lots of social issues that you don't know how to deal with. Here it is. You like the show, so we're going to show it to you. Like, fuck yes. Thank you, television.
I would not have expected this kind of handling of this issue from a show whose premise is what this show's premise
Exactly.
is.
That's what I love about it. This show is so disarming, but it's also incredibly thought out, well written, well acted. Just, it's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
Which,
Love
if
the
you
show.
if you take a second and you step back, it makes so much sense because everybody that Zoe interacts with, like because of the heart songs, their guard is immediately taken down, and they say like we are shown exactly what they feel. Like it's unfortunate that we are surprised that they are handling this so well because they've been handling relationships, deaths in family, like so
really
well,
heavy stuff from the beginning.
with a sense of levity most of the time, which makes it easier to digest for most people.
And not for nothing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, not for nothing, one of the other parts of the show that has really stuck with me is that this show, its real theme, like it's like, oh yeah, it's about a girl who hears people sing their inner songs, and it's like, this is a show about communication and human connection. Like that is the real core of this show, and that is something that speaks really true to my values as a human being, is wanting open lines of communication and to allow people space to be who they need to be and present it to me in a way that they don't have to feel afraid of judgment. And this show is tackling stuff like that. It is giving people an opportunity to really listen and hear others and find empathy. Like, if I had one word to describe the main feeling I get from the show, it's empathy.
True.
Plus, Skylar Astin sings, so there's that. That's true. That's always a wonderful thing.
That gives me another feeling.
Juxtapose the seriousness of the racial issue with, like, in the episode before that, Zoe accidentally took a bunch of drugs and then, like, was high with her boss.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, so, I mean, they get into it, but they also give you a break with this kind of zany stuff, too.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Such a good show. Good show.
How long can we live on popsicles?
I ate the last of them.
Anyway.
All right, so WandaVision. Hold on,
Yes.
Chris. Star Wars.
What about it?
Okay, just making sure you were still here with us.
Chris's go word. It's like an on button.
Hello, hi. So,
Woo! How about that WandaVision?
Season 1, Episode 9, the finale of WandaVision.
Woo!
Oh.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, it
everybody
sucked.
okay?
It was horrible. Nobody should watch it. Thankful it's over.
Can we just
Ugh.
say the Scarlet Witch? Good goddamn.
Hell of a
That's a
costume.
nice looking outfit there.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Mhm.
her costume's amazing. I
Yes.
wish there were cons. I wish there were cons so I could freaking wear it.
The fact that they like seamlessly worked in that ridiculous headpiece and it actually worked.
Yeah,
In real
that
life?
was the shock for me because
Yeah.
I never figured that they would actually do Scarlet Witch's actual outfit in the MCU because
Mhm.
it's absurd.
It is.
But they found a way to make it not absurd. The way that they kind of wove all this in with, you know, her doing magic and her not knowing how to do magic, like
Have you
she's
seen that?
just
Have
she
you seen
just
that
does
meme?
this stuff because she thought it was a power that was given to her through the Mind Stone,
Mhm.
and the fact that the power that was given to her through the Mind Stone was just like awakening an existing power of like a 1 in a million witch. It's just freaking good. The whole mythology that they did to it was so good. The ending was jarring to me because the show had been so creative up to that point that
Mhm.
the ending just kind of being an MCU battle was somewhat disappointing, I guess.
Yeah.
But only if I think of it that way, because at the same time we had, you know, the whole Vision philosophical conversation, which was a pretty
So
cool way
good.
of ending that fight. Like they start beating each other up and I'm like, okay, this is really cool, but at a certain point Vision's gonna vision. And then he did. And it's like, yo, hold up. Check this shit out.
It was like philosophy as a superpower.
And then he stops and he checked that shit out. And it was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could have used a little bit more Kat Dennings in the ending. I just
I'm
can't
glad
wait
that
to
she
see where it's
showed
all
up
going
though.
next.
She did show up, and I was happy. Like
Yep.
it was a little long in the episode. I'm like, where is she? I know she's still around here somewhere.
Made the most out of that one line.
Yeah, and what a one line it was. I mean,
a gift for the ages, really, as the investigation into the last administration continues. Have fun in jail.
just a wonderful show from top to bottom. And I understand that there are people that are super upset with it, like because it started off as this one thing and ended up as like a Marvel thing. And it's like, guys, it is a Marvel
It's
thing.
still a Marvel
it's
thing.
always been a Marvel thing.
Spoiler
If
alert.
it never turned into a Marvel thing, it probably would stick out like a sore thumb. But this is one of those situations where I think the scheduling issues that coronavirus has created has become a bit more of a blessing than a curse, because this was a heck of a way to kick off Phase 4 of the MCU.
Mhm.
Because the movies just stopped because of coronavirus, right? We had Spider-Man, which was this nice little appetizer, little dessert after the super heavy end game, and it had its own multiversal implications by the end of it. And then just they couldn't release the Black Widow, or they didn't want to because they knew it wouldn't get an audience, and they were still trying to figure all that out. And then Falcon and Winter Soldier got delayed, which that was supposed to kick things off.
Right.
And then this show comes along, and I knew from the get-go that I was going to like this because it looked weird, but I never in a million years, and I can't remember if I've said this on the show, but I've said it to a lot of people, I never imagined that I would be worried that Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't going to live up to the standard that WandaVision set. And yet
Weird-
here I
weird
am,
feeling, right?
genuinely worried about that. Like, is this show going to be as good? Like, is this going to hold up? Because this was so much fun. Even if the stuff like with Evan Peters not actually being
Boner.
theoretically not actually being a multiversal thing, like I'm still not sold on that not having any implications, because I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, it's such a red herring to throw that actor in there and in that specific role. how exactly did she come up with using that guy in that specific role? It just seems like there's some sort of multiversal connection going on. I don't know. There seems like there's more to it, and this is the world of comics, man. There very well could be more to it.
Oh yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
So where'd we leave off, right? We've got Wanda out there. Like, one of the things people were pissed off was like, so why didn't Wanda suffer any consequences? Like, why didn't she get arrested or something? And I'm like, by who?
Yeah, really. Who's throwing a set of cuffs on her right now?
She stood up to Thanos and only lost because of luck. And she's 10 times stronger now than she was then. Yep. And who's around, right?
Nobody.
Thor's not around. Hulk's not really around. Like, no one's around. This is it. So yeah, she's walking out of town because no one can stop her right now.
I think that I heard that criticism, and the one reasonable thing I heard said about it was that not so much that nobody punished her, but that final conversation with Monica was her like, they'll never know what you sacrificed. And yeah, she did sacrifice everything that meant anything to her to save the town. But she also put the town through a whole hell of a lot, and the show is framing it as like, oh, it was only her sacrifice. Like, no, she did bad stuff too, and nobody seems to care about that. But
well, I didn't really read it like that. I read it like Monica looked at it kind of that way. But man, when she was walking out of town, you could tell those people wanted to kill her. But they knew they couldn't because, like, what are you going to do? But she just, I think that shot of her at the end reading the Darkhold, like the post-credit scene of her reading the Darkhold, was supposed to imply that she's not necessarily the good guy right now.
Yeah, well, that definitely leads you down that path. I mean, okay, so it's showing her learning how to use her powers because she was, what did I say she was doing? That she's doing that where
astral projecting.
Yeah, it's like that was. We definitely thought that she was going to head down to go get help in some way, shape, or form, whether it be from Doctor Strange or some other character in the Marvel use. But then, oddly, they pulled this 2 times in this episode. There was a very Marvel Hulk situation where you remember the Eric Bana Hulk where he was fighting with his father in the sky, his lightning father. Yeah. And he just kept giving the power to him. That scene was very similar, whether she was fighting with that other witch in the sky, saying, take all of my power, go for it. And then at the very end, they show her in the woods in a cabin mastering her craft, which was
very Hulk, yes.
Very Hulkian. So I think they're doing the character justice by saying she's learning this stuff on her own. Don't tie it anymore, because now they could literally go in either direction, where she comes in and saves the day later on, or she is the reason that the day needs to be saved, because we don't know what she's doing. Yeah, I kind of feel
like that's where Multiverse of Madness is heading, where she's not necessarily going to be the good guy. I don't think she's going to seek out Doctor Strange for help. I think maybe that's where that movie ends, is him trying to point her in a better direction, because my guess is so the movie's called The Multiverse of Madness, so who the heck knows exactly where it's coming from, but we know Mordo is going to be back, and he wants to get rid of all wizards. So, like, what's going to happen? Is he going to have to team up with Doctor Strange to stop Wanda and then kind of like get her back into being a good guy? And like, there's a Vision out there. There's their version of the Vision with all of his memories out there coming to grips with what he is. So Doctor Strange is going to be a really freaking interesting movie, but I don't think that at least how I read it was that I don't think the show was framing it as she was a good guy. I just think that the show I thought it was an interesting way of putting Monica in that position where she was like, I probably would have done the same thing. She didn't necessarily say it was right, but she understands like what was sacrificed, because yes, she unintentionally, because did they really explain how it all started other than just like she just freaking broke and that just happened?
Yeah, that was the excuse. That was the reasoning. She broke.
Like,
Yeah, it
she
was
didn't really
basically
know what she was doing. She didn't know that she even could do that. It was just this thing that happened that she had no control over. And she kept it going even after she at on some level realized what was happening. So that does put her as the pretty high level bad guy right there. But at the same time, like, this is all, it's a weird situation. It's a complicated situation. It's not as cut and dry as like, no, you're the bad guy. Like, yeah, you are the bad guy, but you also had living children that are now gone.
Mm-hmm.
That you had to sacrifice, that weren't actually real, but they were 100% real to her. She gave birth to them, for crying out loud. So, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. The whole thing's weird, and it's, I love it.
I felt like it would have been good to see her, like, own her part in it. But when you put it like that, where she's not in a good place or she's not in a place of being a good guy, I can understand why she didn't. And I hadn't thought about it like that before. So
yeah, she sounds like she's going to be that villain. Like that's always what happens, right? It's like, oh, I had a goal to do good. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. You know, she says to the people when they come out of her spell in the last episode, I was protecting you. And they were like, when you had nightmares, we had your nightmares. Like, no, you weren't protecting us. You were torturing us. And she's twisted everything in her head so that in her mind, she's protecting them. She's giving them peace. And in their minds, their reality is very different. And I think that
Agatha needed to be stopped. Agatha was still bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh yeah,
she wasn't entirely wrong. Like,
right.
She was bad, but she was also fucking delightful.
Oh my
Yes,
god,
she
was great.
And that was another thing I had pointed out on another podcast, was like, they didn't kill her because Marvel's not stupid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh no, everyone
I
knows.
hope she's back in Doctor Strange. I'm so excited for that movie, man. I can't wait to see where that goes.
This also gave us another possible, like, for those that know comic books, they gave us another possible villain with the Skrulls at the end of this whole thing. Now, I don't know what path they're going down, but there was a huge story arc in the Marvel comic book universe where Skrulls were the bad guys. And just for those that may not know, that woman at the end, the very, very end, that shapeshifts, that's a Skrull. And for, I don't know, a year and a half to 10 years, Marvel kept spitting out comic book stories where, oh, nope, that guy was a Skrull, and that guy who you thought was a Skrull, and that woman over there, she was a Skrull, but she didn't really do anything. Like, so they literally made this show a linchpin for wherever the Marvel universe, the MCU is going, which is,
Yeah, like, I'm assuming the friend that she was talking about was Nick Fury, who at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, we know is in space with the Skrulls, hanging out on a satellite or whatever, which we assumed was Sword.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they've already said they're doing something with Secret Invasion, right? Didn't they announce, like, Marvel Secret Invasion was a thing? And that's going to take on a different flavor, because as of right now, the Skrulls aren't bad guys, but they sure were in Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was saying to Evan. I was like, yeah, like, because that was what I was saying when that episode ended and we saw her. The way that they did that, I said the same thing. I was like, this could go two very different directions. They're throwing a lot of stuff out here. I feel like they're purposely misdirecting us. I don't know.
Because they're good at that. They're good at the
It's
purpose.
Marvel. You can't trust anything.
I know.
And there's so much of it this year. And that makes me so, again, with the gap was exactly what we needed. I know they were going to hit us with, like, Black Widow, like, last year or something, but that gap, that whole period of time where they're like, okay, sorry, coronavirus happened, we're delaying everything Marvel. That was great. We needed that breathing room after Endgame. Spider-Man was kind of pushing it, but that movie was so freaking delightful, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a nice little lighthearted dessert after Endgame, but then this huge break was just like, this stops it from feeling fatigued. Like, I got time to breathe. We finished off Star Wars, and then had a whole bunch of other Star Wars stuff happen, and now I'm ready for MCU to come back, and here we are, and we're getting we're getting Falcon and Winter Soldier in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that's over,
Loki's
coming out, and I think would you say July?
No, Loki got pushed. Oh, No, wait. Loki got pushed to June, I think. So Black Widow will be first and then Loki.
And Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is coming out this year. Eternals is this year. There's a lot of Marvel this year.
And Spider-Man No Way Home is at Christmas.
Yes, Spider-Man No Way Home this Christmas.
I wonder if it gets tiring for them to write all of this stuff and still have it somehow connected.
Well, I'm sure they can cry themselves to sleep on their giant piles of money.
I was just thinking,
Pillows made of money.
Spider-Man No Way Home should be interesting, too, because that's the one that we've heard a lot of either rumors or confirmed things where other Spider-Mans from other non-MCU properties are going to be in it. And it's like, okay, well, that's the thing that happens right before the Multiverse of Madness, so... awesome.
I just thought about this, and this is a thing that I really want to see because the Into the Spider-Verse featured some fantastic voice cast. I want Spider-Man Noir to show up in Spider-Man Far From Home, and the man under the mask is Nicolas Cage. Because think about how goddamn glorious that would be.
Yes, please.
So just to put this into perspective, we've got, and I always have a hard time, everyone separates the TV shows and the films, and it's like, screw you, put them in release date order. But this year's movies are Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals, and Spider-Man. And then we already got WandaVision, then we're getting Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Ms. Marvel, and Hawkeye are all theoretically this year.
Holy crap.
Shut the fuck up, man.
And is that including the animated ones?
What If? Yeah.
That's
not the other stuff like MODOK, no, because that's not officially tied in MCU.
Okay.
These are just the things that are listed as part of MCU Phase 4, although I'm not sure What If technically counts, though it is based very directly on the MCU. It's not, What If by nature isn't canon, so...
Yeah, it's true. Even though
but I don't care, it
awesome.
looks amazing.
Also, if it's, existing when in the same cinematic universe as a multiverse, then why not? Why wouldn't it be canon, right?
I guess you could turn that key, yeah.
I can and I will.
I can and I will.
Okay, so now we have to stop.
Right.
Oh, you had to go and ruin it, Karen.
That means it's time for us to take a break.
Yeah, I think we all need a break from Chris's ridiculousness.
You did it.
Said the person who made the terrible pun.
Listen, I didn't do it on purpose. You guys should see now how our son reacts
He gets so mad.
to his dad jokes. It's really freaking great. He's like, "Oh, I hate that."
He's getting so angry, but like he's laughing at the same time because he knows in his heart that I'm hilarious.
Oh God,
In his heart. Oh,
he's like
God.
mad at himself for having allowed the opportunity.
Listen, enjoy it while it lasts, because once puberty comes, you're not going to be funny anymore.
Listen, I am enjoying every moment of him being the sweetest 7-year-old on the planet.
Aw. Spoken like a true
All
mom.
right. That's enough. That's enough sentimentality. Let's take a break. Check out some commercials, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Resident Alien. Don't go away.
And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, do you like art? Do you like watching art being made? Do you like Tomb Raider puns? Or how about general shenanigans? Do you like me? You better like me. Well, there's one convenient place to get all of those things, and that's my Twitch channel. Several days a week, that's right, several. You can watch me go through the creation process and be as entertaining as possible while I'm doing it, which you know is very entertaining. And if you listen to the show, you already know I'm entertaining as fuck. See? Tune in to twitch.tv/LaraCraft13 every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, give me a follow so you never miss a stream. Let's get crafty.
Abumandi.
See, you gotta have fun with it, though. You gotta be able to play off of everybody. I don't like being bound to a script.
I thought your ad-libs were spectacular.
Actually, it was pretty good. Although you missed the part where we do a lot of sandwich discussions.
Well,
What?
he's got to
Nothing.
watch your Twitch more often.
I know,
He can
right?
write better commercials. Oh, fuck, I lost
These
my
are
earbud.
all like look. These are my first commercials that I'm writing in like, God, how many years ago? How many years has it been since we stopped doing this?
It's been a minute. It's been a while.
It's been a minute. Don't worry. My crappy writing is going to. It's going to get more intentionally worse as we go along.
and then it
More
makes
intentionally
it really
worser?
uncomfortable.
And we got to make Evan say names.
Yeah, like this one has insecticons.
And
Yes!
There's gotta be
aficionado.
something. Aficionado. Next, on an all-new episode of Sparkcast, Geekade's Transformers podcast, the team shines a spotlight on the Insecticons' original toy figures. What? See, this is the shit that Chris does to me. The team shines a spotlight on the Insecticons' original toy figures descriptions. If you're a Transformers toy aficionado like I am, there's a pretty good chance those words will mean something to you. Meanwhile, Thomas tries to make sense of the various War for Cybertron media. Makes sense of the various War for Cybertron media. Sean defends Titan's return, and we answer the burning questions. Why do all Decepticons have hands? Be sure to catch Sparkcast episode 41, Toy Bios, Insecticons, where fine podcasts are sold.
Oh my god, that was beautiful.
And that's how you do it.
Can you keep in the fact that we laughed at you the whole time? Because that
Most of the
really...
time it does.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Okay. I gotta follow that, huh?
Yeah, good luck.
Finally, Geekade's X-Men podcast has evolved and is now focused on the tragically canceled X-Men Evolution cartoon. This time, Jonathan and Patty discuss the episode Grim Reminder, the two-part season finale, The Cauldron, and finish things off with their overall thoughts of Season 1. Xavier's actions are called into question to no one's surprise, but what do Patty and Jonathan have to say about Magneto and his magnificent animated jawline? Does a foot mean nothing in Canada? Find out in Mutant Musings
So close.
Almost made
Right
it.
there.
Find out on Mutant Musings Evolution Episode 5, Science Dial.
For all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com.
And we are back, and we are talking about Resident Alien, which I keep thinking it's a video game, but it's not Resident Evil, it's Resident Alien, but it sounds like the name of a video game. But instead, it is a show that premiered in January on Sci-Fi. It stars Alan Tudyk of Firefly fame as an alien stranded on Earth, disguising himself of the body of the first person he encountered when his spaceship crashed, which is a doctor who was vacationing alone in the winter in an isolated Colorado town. So as our story begins, the sheriff and his deputy seek out the help of this doctor with a murder investigation. The victim is the town's only doctor, who Tudyk's character Harry comes to replace in order to maintain his cover. Along with Harry and the police officers, we meet Asta, the devoted nurse and friend of the late doctor, her bartender friend Darcy, Mayor Ben, who clashes with the alpha male sheriff, and Ben's young son Max, who has a rare genetic mutation that allows him to see through Harry's camouflage, so he's able to see his true alien form, and he's the only one in town who can. This was, I'm going to save my opinion. What did you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I mean, we watched it twice. First time was, with some family members. We breezed through. We were chit-chatting throughout the whole time. And with the second watch, I really like the character that he is, that Tudyk is portraying. Like, I like that awkward, fish out of water kind of thing. So I think he's doing a great job. I enjoyed shockingly enough a Sci-Fi show.
Hey, we like Killjoys. You stop.
I know. I do like sci-fi.
He was being sarcastic.
I
We're the
get
ones that don't
ridiculed
usually
for
enjoy the
sci-fi shows on this show. So
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot. It's Chris and Karen who usually. Yeah, that's why I kept thinking that's where this came from. I kept thinking that it was an Evan pick because it was a sci-fi show. And Karen, you threw me for a loop on this one.
I sure did, and that's how much I love Alan Tudyk. I was just like, "Yep, we're gonna do this."
yeah.
I'm glad we did.
There's been a lot of memes going around this week, and it's like how you met Paul Bettany, and it's a picture of Vision in WandaVision, and then how I met Paul Bettany, and it's a picture of him from A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
I could make that same meme about Alan Tudyk because he was also in A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
I will thong you.
I will thong you.
Entrails will become your
Lots of
extrails.
Can you tell we've seen this movie before, guys?
I love that movie. So we liked it. We enjoyed it. We actually did we watch two more episodes?
Yeah.
After?
We're 3 episodes in right now.
Excellent.
Which
We
is-
also proceeded past the first episode to the second episode
Nice.
because yes, we enjoyed the heck out of a sci-fi show.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was
Yes.
fantastic.
It was so much higher quality than sci-fi normally is. And it's funny today. One of my Facebook friends
Wow.
was.
That was a backhanded compliment towards Sifi. I'm just
Listen, I will not show respect to Sifi just yet. But one of my Facebook friends posted one of those. I'm looking for a new show. What is everybody watching? I have all the streaming services, and then I recommended Ted Lasso, and she was like, "Oh, I don't have Apple TV Plus," and I was like, "Then you don't have all the services."
That's like one of the top 3. Disney, Netflix, Apple. That's what you. All right, Hulu.
No, Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I feel like
never
Apple
counted
TV
that
is
as a
pretty low on that tier actually because they don't have a ton of original content really.
But
At
I
any
also
rate,
never counted
everybody
Amazon
in the
Prime.
thread was saying Resident Alien, and so
Yes.
that this thing really has some buzz just among the common people.
I am glad to hear that.
Yeah. Enjoyed the heck out of it. Tudyk's performance, both with the stilted, awkward alien who doesn't quite know how to be a human thing. The social interactions, but also the flashbacks and the physical comedy to trying to get the body to work.
Oh, that was hysterical.
God, it was so well done. The ways he
last
moved
one.
his body that you're like, yes, that's exactly what would happen, but I wouldn't necessarily expect a human body to be able to replicate those motions.
Most of that scene is him in his boxer briefs and just walking and then there's the last scene or the last imagery is him looking like he's going to sit down but his legs don't bend and he goes face first. Oh my god.
And he doesn't even put his arms, he had his arms in a position to catch himself. By the way, if anybody is listening to this is not the thing that happened in the first episode. This is actually after. But he instead of leaving his arms there to catch himself, he throws his hands back and then just face plants. It's so great.
I want to
I
give
will
out
say that the cop guy, I
Big
hate
Black.
Yeah.
That was no.
Except
Sorry, that
the-
was
come on, the
that character
beatboxing?
in general was a swing and a miss.
Yes, it is.
The
That-
beatboxing was so strange because it was so in contrast to him and the rest of everything he did.
That's why
And-
I'm sorry. Go
Are
ahead.
they going to do something with him? Sure, maybe, but the entire concept of a human living there, putting a hat on like that, and insisting that people call him Big Black is so outside of the realm of it's outside of the realm of believability of even a show with Alan Tudyk as an alien. It was
That's
absolutely
more believable.
this is sci-fi writing right here. That's what this crap is. And the partner was the same squirrely.
See,
no,
I
I'm
liked
sorry.
her
I
because
just-
she reminded me of what's her name from Smallville, Supernatural.
Oh, Jody Mills. No, not Jody Mills. No, Donna. Donna, Sheriff Donna.
She didn't seem as awesome to me as Donna is.
Well, it's
No,
her
she's not.
first. It's her. Come on, with way she handled what's the kid's name? Max.
Yeah, she was good with him.
She's like that in that second episode. And Max, that kid knows how to scream, and that face that he makes.
Good. Yeah.
all of his like his interaction, his standoff with him when he was getting the stitches.
Oh my God.
Great.
Again, not the first episode, dear listeners. Sorry. Can you tell we like the show? Just freaking watch it.
Well, that's the thing. Like the first episode, the Harry character, like the alien, he's like off-putting because it's the interaction. It's our. They're trying to show us the alien side of him, like why this alien came to Earth is not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, they were really ambiguous about it until the very end of the first episode when they officially said that his mission was to kill everybody.
Right. And then the second episode is him, for lack of a better terminology, becoming more human, which is like there's a scene where he's laughing.
Oh my God, the
face
laughter.
distortions of
Oh man.
He did it
Alan
all
Tudyk
twice,
is a
too.
treasure, and this show is. If
like
it didn't have him as the lead, this
It
wouldn't
would-
be what it is. Like
Absolutely.
this is an
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk vehicle, no
Yeah.
question. But the rest of the characters, with the exception of those two cops, I think do work very well. And I'm sure, like, I tolerate those two cops because the rest of the show works as well as it does. But the woman who's playing opposite him, I
12
think is
Trees.
great.
Asta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that she's great. She's an interesting character. It's cool to see a Native American lead. That's not
And
something
I
you see
really
every day.
appreciated how they wove that into it without making it a big deal. Like,
Mhm.
it wasn't like, let's show her in, like, tribal, traditional stuff. Let's,
As Evan
like,
says,
make a big
checking
deal about
boxes.
how
Yeah.
she's Native American. She just is Native American. Like, that's it.
And
You know-
any cultural things that came up were presented as completely matter of fact.
Yes.
Not like this is a special thing our people do. It was just presented as matter of fact.
Like,
And
you
that's how you do it.
experienced a loss. You need to, like, grieve in this way that is part of our culture.
That scene, like I got upset because I have a thing for women with long hair. I don't know, Angela just cut her hair a little bit, and it was okay, it's fine, but still,
You
when
sure?
she comes out and
She's
she has
on
that,
her way out the door.
Yeah.
she has that knot like at the base of her skull. I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with them cutting her hair, but if they take off that much, I will not be able to look at her. And no, they just did it, and it was just trimmed, and it was, as like you put it perfectly, matter of fact. This is a thing that where it's not a big deal. So had they changed her whole address and like the whole thing, like it would have been more prevalent. The
It was subtle.
it was very subtle. The burning of the clothing, like that. It didn't seem out of place. And like, the walking barefoot, like that was another. That was super subtle. Like I didn't even realize it was. Like I know what they were trying to do, but to me when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, that's weird.
Yeah, I didn't get
And-
it either, to be
and then
honest.
it progressed. Like, this is part of her culture. Like it's being more with nature. I get it now. Like it, but they didn't even make mention of it. She was just sitting in a car. All of a sudden, she took off her shoes and started walking in the snow.
Can we talk about the fact that when she took off those shoes, there were no socks, though?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I don't care what culture
That's a
you are. You
problem.
wear socks with boots.
God. Only people who don't wear socks are monsters.
Monsters, all of them.
And I like how they handled, there were some people who were suspicious of Harry because he's a little strange. And then I think it was the deputy who said, like, well, it's okay if people are a little different sometimes.
Yes.
That I appreciated. And it gives me hope about my one concern about this show, which is the other people's, just the people in the town, not any like speaking roles or anything, but just the other people in the town, their perception of Harry, because I suppose it bothered me especially in the scene in the bar where he got drunk. He obviously comes off as different and stilted and not neurotypical. So what do these people in the town think is going on with him? And by extension, why are they then encouraging him to get drunk and make a fool of himself? Like, that feels mean to me.
Oh,
I
didn't get that at all.
No, I got the idea too that they were just seeing him as someone who's like neurodivergent. What'd you say? Not neurotypical, right? So
Right. Neurodiverse.
So to me, the idea was like they saw him him come in with this woman from town that everyone knows, and she's accepting him, and then the bartender is accepting him, and then they're all having a good time. Like, it didn't feel mean to me, especially when the bartender like hit on him and wanted to go on a date.
Yeah, that was that chemistry. Like, he's having chemistry, all different types of chemistry with the I don't want to, I guess, the connection he's having with the Asta, the nurse. That is a mentor-ish kind of relationship, and then the bartender is like that borderline romantic. Like, they're not pigeonholing that character into being the oddball. He is just a character that happens to be slightly odd. Like, there was outside of the kid, there was no outside character reactions to him being the doctor, except for that was that in the second episode where the old man is like, I appreciate you telling me the truth.
That's the second episode.
Like that that's the interactions that I'm seeing more. I didn't interpret that as being mean. It looked like everybody was having a good time, and they were just getting a guy who's cutting a rug. He was having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it was just the amount of alcohol consumed in that scene, because they did like 6 shots in a row at the bar, and then he wandered over and started dancing, and they were giving him more shots, and I'm like, that would kill anyone. Why are they doing that to him?
Funny story, actually. The last wedding I went to looked a lot like that scene.
Oh, good times.
I maybe I'm low tolerance or too sensitive to it or something. It just bothered me a little of just
no.
why is everybody just like drinking like there's no tomorrow?
Yeah,
it may just be a sci-fi thing where they're like, we're not even going to worry about the realism. I mean, obviously he had a hangover the next day, but like, I would have been knocked out for 3 days out of commission.
What did he say? The alcohol must not affect humans like it does my people.
Yeah,
because if it did, they would never drink ever
Never
again.
drink it.
that show had so many good one-liners.
Chris laughed so hard at that alcohol line because he doesn't drink. So that rang really true for him.
It's helping me make really good decisions or whatever that was.
It's allowing me to make smart,
but also
rational
the one
decisions.
about how alcohol doesn't affect humans.
Yeah.
Because anytime I've gotten him to, he will occasionally like do a shot for somebody's birthday or something like that, and every time he does, his immediate reaction to the alcohol touching his lips is like, "Oh dear God, why would anyone ever do this on purpose?"
And then someone inevitably goes, "No, you got to try this. It tastes just like this." And then Chris goes, "Well, why not I just have that?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it tastes like juicy juice, why not I just have fucking juicy juice?
This tastes just like chocolate milk. Okay, but chocolate milk tastes like chocolate milk, and it costs 1/8 of the price. So, fuck you.
PSA: if you have a friend
Chris.
who doesn't drink, stop trying to make them drink. Just accept it. It's fine. They're fine. Some people don't drink. Get over it.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I will say, if you do become that friend who does drink on occasion, that scene is a real life thing that happens. Because that was literally how the wedding thing happened. People just continuously handed me shots, and I probably did like 12 or 13 shots that night. And I didn't remember most of the night after a point.
Sorry, I'm remembering.
It went
his
very,
face.
very well.
I mean, I had those nights too a long time ago, and I think maybe it's just been so long since I did something like that. I can't fathom doing it.
I mean, think about it realistically.
purpose.
How often do you go hang out at a bar for late hours into the evening? You know, like none of us do that.
Last time I was in a bar.
Yeah, so it could be
other than to pick up our to-go dinner.
Right.
That's completely different bar setting.
It could be a thing. I think we need someone to write in and tell us what happens at bars. We're old. We don't know.
I miss bars.
I don't
I was
care.
at a bar shortly before coronavirus everything, like just with a couple of friends after a meeting, and it was great. I missed
After
the
a
crap
meeting,
out of that.
you're being very. After our,
It wasn't a work meeting. It was a social club meeting.
I'm not touching that one.
Anywho, Resident Alien, top notch. Alan Tudyk knocking it out of the park. I love this.
Abso-friggin-lutely.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
don't let the sci-fi label scare you, because this
Never
is one
does.
of
I'm
those
sorry.
rare sci-fi. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the
Easy
friggin'
with-
listeners.
Like, you're like hating on sci-fi, right? Okay.
I've just
That's
now.
sci-fi
This is
shaming.
the first time I've ever seen a sci-fi original show that I enjoyed. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
And just be prepared, because if your children are going to watch this, they will learn what a douchebag and a taint are.
God, the Googling. The way he just dropped the phone.
When he's giving
Because
her
the
the pelvic
progression
exam.
was he Googled douchebag and he found the definition, and then he clicked images, and then he searched taint.
Yes. And his
And
reaction.
then he dropped the phone in disgust.
Oh my god.
When he's doing the pelvic exam.
I
and
really
the
just want to
flash
see the
kept going
script
off.
page
Oh
for
my
that
God.
scene.
Yeah.
So funny.
But there's so many good things, like one of the things we didn't touch on yet was also like little lines, like, okay, when they go to the bar and then she's like, oh yeah, like this thing happened, and then he's like, he doesn't do anything, and she's like, well, aren't you gonna like ask
This is
me
when
about
you're
it?
supposed to ask me about my child.
And his response is, why? I don't care. Like,
It's what we want to say in normal like, I don't care.
yeah, like he just, to me, like he reminds me of some of the people I've interacted with who are not neurotypical, who just like, they speak their mind, and I really appreciate it, and I love it. I really do. He does get drunk and attempt to murder a child. That's pretty hysterical.
When that kid is standing
Whiskey
on
is
the bed.
causing me to make smart and rational decisions. I want a tattoo, a bumper sticker, or something.
Yeah.
Put it on a shot glass.
There you go. That's the perfect place for it.
Yeah, it's there's so many good lines in this.
Humans have a term for this: bad luck and raw deal, and this is some bullshit.
That's my term for it. And then he said it out loud.
And his I love when his like inner monologue gets interrupted and he reacts in his inner monologue.
Mm-hmm.
That got me too. Like when he almost got hit by the car. Oh, that was so funny.
Oh, yes, I
Good.
highly enjoyed this show. I'm glad that I picked it. I'm glad that we moved on to episode 2. I would say it's fair to say we're going to continue, dear.
I've got no problems with it. I
Got
would be
nothing
more
else
than
to
happy
do.
to
Waiting
finish
for
that
Falcon
off.
and Winter Soldier.
That's right. We can watch this on Thursdays while we wait for. Well, I mean, it's not going to last that long because.
Do you have CFE in your house? Do you allow it in your house?
Yeah, I feel like they've got a channel blocker.
I think it's
Look, sci-fi
somewhere
will
in
always
there.
be welcome in my house because sci-fi was, where Mystery Science Theater lived for several years. That's also the station that canceled it, but
See,
Who's
that's
and that
where it
show with the
begins.
talking dolphin.
What?
Do you guys not remember that it was like a space show on Sci-Fi, and like one of the characters was a dolphin in a tank?
Sequest DSV.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
Chris knows.
I have no. I'm looking at you
I
awkwardly.
feel
'cause-
like that actually didn't start on Sci-Fi. I feel like that was on like
With the Sci-Fi to
ABC or
Die.
something
Yeah.
when it started. I think Sci-Fi was just running that in reruns.
Oh,
Man, Sequest. I haven't thought about that in a while.
yeah. Well, you probably shouldn't.
Oh, I do remember that show.
Sequest DSV. Where did you start?
Wait, why do I feel like that kid was it the guy
Rabbit hole.
from Star Trek?
Will Wheaton?
Was he on that?
Will Wheaton?
Starring Roy Schreider, Jonathan Brandis. That's the kid you're thinking about. Jonathan Brandis. Why do I know
That's-
him?
He has the floppy hair.
One Life to Live.
Animorphs? No, I don't know.
God, I recognize the heck out of this kid, but I'm on Wikipedia and it's only saying like he was in the Neverending Story 2. Like, okay.
Well, good for him.
Good for him.
Thanks for pointing that one out. I don't know.
Well, thanks for that delightful.
Where the
rabbit
heck
hole.
did
Yeah,
this?
sorry. Did not mean to take y'all down that
Originally
rabbit hole.
an NBC. It was an NBC show. It's available on Peacock now.
Ooh.
So if you have the Peacock,
Sold.
I'm getting emails now from Peacock because I couldn't. I lost the web address for the Plex server on my computer, and I couldn't
get it
find
up.
it. So I went to the NBC website to watch an episode of Zoe, and now NBC is like, "Hey,
You still like us? You like us? You want to like us
I'm
again? Please like us.
really?
We like you.
I
You like us?
really don't.
We got a streaming service. It's called Peacock. You liked The Office, right? The Office was great. Except we don't have The Office anymore. Who has The Office now? Is it Peacock that has The Office? I don't know.
Yes, it is
Right.
because it's off Netflix, and people are real mad.
Right. That's the feather in their cap is they have The
Mhm,
Office.
they have The Office.
Did you just do a feather peacock thing?
I'm going to pretend I
Yes,
didn't hear
that
it.
was
Can you guys
totally
go
intentional.
back to being mad at him instead of
Sure.
me for puns?
I think I'm just digging for puns with Chris.
Yeah, that was totally unintentional.
Okay.
I don't
we should
think
end this
enough
episode.
of
It's just-
Peacock to make
No more
proper
puns.
puns.
Don't swing at the high ones, dear.
Yeah,
That's right. Walk
Stop
it off.
talking. I hate you forever.
Anyway,
I don't.
so it sounds like a resounding woohoo all around for Resident Alien.
Mhm.
And with
Yeah.
that, my darling husband, do you have spiel?
I sure do. You can get in touch with us at mail@geekade.com as well as all flavors of social media that we inhabit. You can like us on Facebook at Geekade, find us on Instagram at Geekade, subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels for all our latest video content, and follow us on Twitter at @_Geekade or follow this show specifically at Twepcast. You can also find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Geekade Chris, that's Geekade KRIS. Karen, where can people find you?
Shoot_the_moon.
Evan, where can people find you?
Geekade_Evan.
And I just called you Lara in my head because the whole Lara Croft thing is like, wait, that's not your name. Angie, where can people find you?
Well, on Twitch, you can find me at LaraCraft13, and on Instagram, you can find me at A4Not.
If you're interested in more information about anything we discussed tonight, be sure to check out the show notes. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to this and any of our other wonderful podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever fine podcasts are sold. Or if you're super nice, you can leave us a review because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, always remember to keep your eyes on geekade.com for more fresh original content. Sort of. Back to you, Karen.
You're damn right. Back to me. So because of our slightly janky recording schedule, we will be back next week with all of the news that is fit to put on the internet, because that's where news is now. It's not fit to print anymore. All the news that will fit on the internet, which is all of it. That's what I was trying to go for, and I failed miserably, you guys.
Going well.
We do have a lot of news to talk about next week. Probably not a lot of shows to talk about next week since it's only a week. And the following episode after that, we will be discussing what, my dear husband?
Well, I am once again of two minds. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into this before tonight, and I really just kind of just went with my gut here. So I have an oldie or a newie. What do you guys want? Do you want an old classic, or do you want something new?
Ooh.
I want old from
I
you.
do too, yeah. That's where I was leaning.
I want to see where your
I mean,
brain
I'm
goes.
afraid, but let's hear what you got.
All right, two old classics. Let me get the episode number. We are going to watch an episode of my favorite TV show of all time, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Shit.
I haven't watched this episode in a long time, and it came up tonight just in my regular internal rotation in my brain. A joke from it, and it made me laugh and said, man, I haven't watched Pod People in a long time. And Pod People is got to be one of the best episodes of Mystery Science Theater. So we're going to be watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. Let me just get the episode number for you because I forgot to do that. Pod People. Season 3, Episode 3. All-time classic. Love this one.
All right, then. So we'll be back with our news next week, and then after that, Mystery Science Theater 3000. We've got Movie Sign. Until then, I'm Karen.
I'm Angie.
I'm Evan.
Pianos falling on children.
Good night, folks.
That was gonna be my-
No, it was kung kung.
What is a kong?
And this concludes our broadcast day.